When you fish a drop shot rig, what's the best way to hook your worm and why? Good morning, guys and girls. November 22nd, James 5:16, the book of James. Golly, I wish God had put that in the book of Jimmy. I'd have done devotionals off of every single verse. James 5:16. This is really a good one, guys and girls. When a believing person prays, great things happen. That is just absolutely fantastic right there. Take that and put it deep down in your heart. When a believing person prays, great things happen. Here's what I wrote about that. When the water cools down into the 50s or lower, which is where we are right now, and the bass become less active, you got to both slow down and change lures. I like the new Alabama rig with swim baits on it. Alabama rigs are great. Big, deep diving crankbaits, spinner baits in like 3/4 to 1 ounce spinner bait. You got them, fish them deeper, fish them slow. You'll get more strikes and you'll hook huge bass, especially if you've got clear water. Clear water, when that water temperature gets cold, it's really probably better in the February, March area, an Alabama rig, than it is this time of the year. But once that water gets down in the 50s, especially 55 and below, start throwing that Alabama rig. You'll catch a lot of fish on it. When difficulties arise in our lives and the lives of people we know, prayer is the key. Difficulties arise in our lives or the lives of people we know, prayer is the key. God is always in the active mode of answering prayer. You know, sometimes we think God's not paying any attention to us. Sometimes we think that God's not listening to our prayer. We're praying and we're praying and we're praying. We're not seeing any results. Let me tell you, God's working. God is listening. He's answering your prayer. He might not be answering it right today or tomorrow or even next week. God is working on answering your prayer. Every believer that I know, every believer that you know, that you could ever find, can testify to answered prayers. If you don't believe me, just ask a few of your friends that are born again Christians. Has God ever answered your prayers? They'll step right up and testify. I have friends alive today because of answered prayer. We have friends alive today that caught the coronavirus and are over it because of answered prayer. I could rattle off a lot of names for you, people that have caught the coronavirus and are alive right now, completely over it because of answered prayer. Not because of anything anybody else done, answered prayer. Some of them didn't do anything but just simply stay home and get over it. My buddy Bobby Dennis at Lucky Strike Lures had a fever for 13 days. All we did was pray. After 13 days, he didn't even take aspirin for it. He's perfectly well. My buddy Roland Martin went through a pretty rough time there for a little while. Again, didn't take anything for it, just prayed. Him and his wife Judy both caught the virus, both perfectly well right now. Answered prayer is working in America today. Never, and I mean never, underestimate what God has the power to do. Never stop praying. Never stop praying. Goodness. That just ought to be part of every part of your life. And you can pray all day long. I pray a lot of little prayers during the day. I'm out fishing and not catching any fish. Lord, please give me a bite. Boom, I'll get a bite. I'll probably miss him, but it'll be a little one. Lord, I was thinking about something a little bit larger. We have a lot of conversations with God, and God just up there shaking his head, I'm sure. Okay, here's our tip for this week, and it's a really good one. It's really not necessarily great for this time of the year. You know, in the Catch of the Day book that I'm writing that we'll have out next year, I kind of try to correlate those tips where they match you a little bit better to the time of the year. Not a lot of drop shot fishing going on right now, I don't think, but nose hook a finesse worm on a drop shot rig on smooth bottoms in clear water. Nose hook that bait. In other words, don't make it where it's weedless, but nose hook it. Just stick your little hook right in the very tip of it where it's got all the action you can possibly get out of it. And what a drop shot rig is, for those of you that may not know, a drop shot is simply having the weight on the bottom and having your hook up anywhere from 12 inches to 20 inches or so up above that. So you got your weight on the bottom, and you got your hook up above it, and that's a drop shot. And it works really, 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 really well. Another drop shot rig would be just having your hook and then putting a drop shot on your line. That works really well also. That's absolutely that was the original drop shot rig before they came out with the other one. It doesn't matter whether you have your weight on the bottom or on top. Nose hook those if you have a smooth bottom. Now, if you nose hook, you're going to get hung anytime it hits some brush. So it doesn't work around any brush at all. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I love you.